You hear a lot of things that is happening, especially with our youth populace. You hear about the street gang wars in different places, around Lagos. You ask yourself that what is the correlation about these streets gang fights, these warfares among young people, this neighborhood court rivalry among young people, and the situation of the security agencies. It was becoming unbecoming. It was highly injurious to society. It was the highest level of criminality. I mean, you see a group of, I've seen them severally in Ikeja, even in K2 area here and some other places. I saw the way they would just park. They would just park. And before you know it, they cock their gun and they create panic, not just to the person they are arresting, but to even, they don't look us and people around. And you see, these are the problems we are facing in this country. And if you say we should keep quiet, how do we wake into a great country? How did we fall into this all-time low? I mean, how did we become so ridiculed to this level? Why? Because some politicians destabilize the social fabric. There is no politics of excellence any longer. Nobody is thinking. Nobody is seeing in between the line. Well, it's another very wonderful, lovely moment on our channel, Asabi Africa TV. I want to thank everybody for the loyalty and for the sense of participation and the following, the large following. I want to thank our viewers in Nigeria, in London, in America, in Canada, in Ghana, in Germany, and some other European and African countries. I want to thank you for the support and the loyalty, brand loyalty. Well, as usual, it's going to be an emergency broadcast as usual. I am so disturbed, and I think this is another issue that we have to tackle, and we have to look into it critically. We have to talk about it. It's an opinion that I can say it has been espoused by so many people. The society is disturbed, and you ask yourself what is going on. You look at 20, 30, 40 years ago, and you ask yourself what kind of youth population are we trying to develop in Nigeria today. We're going to talk about the restiveness of the youth. If you look at the newspapers in the last 7 years down the line, you hear a lot of things that is happening, especially with our youth populace. You hear about the street gang wars in different places, around Lagos. You ask yourself that what is the correlation about these streets gang fights, these warfares among young people, this neighborhood court rivalry among young people, and the situation of the security agencies. You hear about fights in places like what they call that place, like K2. Yeah, K2. Of course, I'm familiar with K2 because that's the base of some of us. You hear cases in what they call lady luck. You hear cases of cult warfare in places like Lady Luck in Bariga. You hear youth cult warfare in places like Mushin. Mushin is a very dominant environment, and you can see that the thing is spreading up, even up to places like Ojokoro, which is supposed to be one of the most peaceful local governments. I remember some years ago when one of our friends, elderly friend, Honorable Benjamin Olabinjo, was the chairman of Ojokoro LCDA. We used to go to his office to do 1 or 2 stories, and we used to tout Ojokoro as one of the most peaceful local development authority area in Lagos, or let's call one of the most peaceful neighborhood. But with what is happening, especially with what happened early this week, when a friend related to me, we heard about some boys who fought and they went out on rampage. I think that was Wednesday evening. Wednesday, what's the date of Wednesday? Well, I think that was Wednesday 14th, I think, if I'm not getting it wrong. Wednesday 14th or Thursday 15th. I didn't know which of, I think it was one of those days. And we learned that some young people went around MEIRAN, Ojokoro area. I've forgotten what they call that area. A very popular area around that place. And they macheted people, and they were going from shop to shop to cut people down. That some people were even wounded, and they later died the next day. And there was a kind of maybe it was a court rivalry war. They were mentioning Ile Bale. I wouldn't know the Bale they are talking about. They said there's a Bale maybe in Ijaiye or MEIRAN. Somebody spoke to me on phone this morning. He said, I think Ijaiye, that in that area there used to be a spot whereby touts, the Ile Bale itself is a hangout for violent young people who just sit down there, take their drugs, they are high and all that, and they are the people that go out in the evening. I learned that in the last 2 weeks it has been almost like that. They go out in the evening with cutlass, they harass people, they make people to close their shops, and they just burgle into people's shop, collect money, collect valuables, and if you cannot give them enough, they machete you, even they shoot at times. They also have access to gun and all that. And you ask yourself that how did we get to this level in this country? And at times when you look at Nigeria, you look at Lagos, you look at some of the environment from Bariga to Ketu to Owuru, to Elebiju area here, and some other prominent loopholes, even up the area of Alagbado to AMJ, to AIT, particularly AMJ, you see a lot of crop of spots whereby young people are smoking in their home continuously. And the pain, the sad reality is that even some security officials, especially in the police, when you do your investigation, you see some of them are collaborating with these young people. It is such a very, very complex situation. It's a very what can I call it? It's a vicious situation, a kind of a vicious circle whereby you wouldn't know who to approach. I'm not saying the police, Nigerian police, don't have fantastic, beautiful officers from rank and file. In the echelon of 20%, we have fantastic, right-thinking minded police officers. I've dealt with some of them one-on-one, and they gave me a result. And I've also dealt with people in the 80% cadre of people that messed up. You have to bribe them for them to do a job. You have to keep writing. You have to keep reporting. If you don't motivate them with money, they are not going to do any job. They are not going to effect any arrest. The case of MEIRAN a few days ago, according to my female colleague that live in that area, in fact, Somebody went outside and did a kind of voice pop. We learned that the police that were at the junction in MEIRAN there, that there is a police vehicle from the MEIRAN DPO, a patrol vehicle with armed police. The moment those boys started macheting people, the police got into their vehicle and ran away.
Without saying it, ó ṣe ti di 6 nírọ̀lẹ́ ó yẹ káyọ̀ ọlọ́pàá ti wà ní everywhere. Lọ́sọ̀ ní gbogbo nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ lánàá. Ọlọ́pàá mi rẹ̀ ìgbà táwọn bẹ́ẹ̀ kò ní jáde ní ọlọ́pàá mi rẹ̀ ń drive wọn sá lọ.
Àwọn ọlọ́pàá mi ló ń sá lọ.
Ọlọ́pàá tó máa ń gbé mọ́tò sí mẹ́rin. Àwọn tó ṣojú wọn sọ pé ìmìdé táwọn bẹ́ẹ̀ ti àwọn ọlọ́pàá mẹ́rin tó máa ń gbowó lọ́wọ́ àwọn tó máa ń gbé mọ́tò yìí lọ sí wọ́n kàn wọ́n pé so by now tó ṣe any time from 6 nírọ̀lẹ́ báyìí ó yẹ kí àwọn ọlọ́pàá kan ti wà everywhere. Ṣé báwọn tún wọn mọ̀ ń pa lánàá pòlí gbogbo àwọn tí traffic ṣe wà yìí àwọn bẹ́ẹ̀ sẹ́ ń wọnú mọ́tò ń lọ ń táwọn tó wà ní mọ́tò láti
inú mọ́tò Jesus Christ níbí báyìí
alẹ́ àwọn
ní 8:30 yẹn.
as I had àwọn tó ń tẹ̀.
Mo sọ ọ̀tọ́ máa wá kọ́kọ́ bu gbónú bẹ̀rẹ̀ then MEIRAN side.
MEIRAN one then the other side ibi tí lè balẹ̀.
Ìdílé baálẹ̀ ok ìdílé ilé baálẹ̀ náà kì í ṣe first page by the right.
Táwọn boys máa ń mú.
Ok ó ti yé mi.
Àwọn bíbá ìwà retaliate àwọn lè ti ṣe fún wọn láti wọ́n wá retaliate.
Ok màá wo bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ẹ ṣeun. Ẹni sùúrù kí màmá yẹn wọlé o.
And you ask yourself, how will police run? The other day in Obalende, the same thing happened. Boys came out, they started macheting people, they started robbing people, they created chaos, environmental chaos, neighborhood chaos, and police were nowhere to be found. And when I posted on the Facebook, a friend of mine who is very desperate to become the chairman of Ojokoro now, and I pray that God will help him. I'm talking of my friend, Kolajo Omisore, decided to tell me that, what do you expect the police to do? This is why ENDSARS, this is why SACs were in town, and ENDSARS has created panic. He was trying to insinuate that because of the campaign, the ENDSARS campaign, police are now a bit restrained. But that is not the truth, Mr. Kolajo, and a lot of people that share such gullible opinion. It is not the truth. ENDSARS was getting out of, if it got out of hand. ENDSARS was something different. It was something horrible. I have spoken about this before. I have stood at bus stops whereby I saw vehicles by ENDSARS official, unmarked vehicle. They just park and they just put somebody inside the vehicle. They just grab somebody on the bus stop. They side the person from afar. They drive at times one way, and they pick the person up, and you don't know where they're taking the person to. And to make the matter worse, the vehicle is not even numbered. You know, sometimes early this week, I recorded how some police in the governor's Sanwo-Olu anti-one-way patrol molested the driver. They used his vehicle. Instead for them to arrest him, they used his vehicle from Ogba. I'm going to produce the video. After this video, I'm going to do a video on it. One of the officers there is called Audu, very wicked, very evil. You know, they carried the vehicle of the man. They started arresting others. And when they arrest them, they don't even take them to the station. It's either they get some money from them or they harass them. You know, they took this man's korope from Ogba, drove almost 30 minutes to 40 minutes down from Ogba through Agege to Abule Egba. And you know what they did? They used his korope vehicle with their own police patrol that is neatly driven, very well fitted cars. They use his korope to block an LT bus, and the LT man uses vehicle to break the door and to break the front rear of that korope, including the the what they call it, the water, the engine, the water gauge inside the engine. That is the place you put water. In fact, the steering was locked. They destroyed the man's vehicle, and the man was crying like a baby. And they left him there, and they ran away. They were pursuing the LT. They dumped him there. Somebody you arrested in Ogba, you didn't arrest him for driving one way. You arrested him for obstruction. And the only thing you did was to use his vehicle to start to be tracking other people. You are in his vehicle. The same old method that ENDSARS people were using in those days that people kicked against. Some nefarious, bad manner, useless, ungodly, insane police officers have gone back to that same route. And now people like my friend Kolajo will now come out and tell you that, nobody can arrest the streets, the young boys that are robbing and molesting and killing people because police, ENDSARS, because ENDSARS campaign, stop police. What kind of trash is that? I can't understand. How? Why would you say that kind of a thing? ENDSARS, they got out of their brief. They did what the government didn't send them. And I think we have to also appeal to the political class, to the leadership, to people that are in political position. That is why we hate some of you now. And that is why we are praying that some of you will never become our president in 2023. You will never amount to anything again because your political hegemony has created a lot of ethical misdemeanor in the lowest rung of the society. The way you influence politics, the way you appoint people, the way you lead people into position, it has destroyed the fabric of morality. People don't give a damn any longer. We go on the street, we see what the police do, what a lot of people do. Nobody is giving leadership. And those that are trying to give leadership, the majority that are messed up in their courage, messed up in their morale, will now draw them off or will now give a campaign of calumny to get them off what they are doing. You know, if ENDSARS were given a brief to attack robbers and to arrest robbers or to attack robbery situation, and all they were doing was to look out for flashy cars in town, and anywhere they see a flashy car with a young guy behind the steering, they rush on that car, and they won't even arrest the guy to take them to the police station because they know that at the end of the day, their bosses, some of their bosses might think straight. Some of their bosses might be might be knowledgeable with the rudiment of law. So they take those boys to their ATM, they shakara them, they bully them with guns, they threaten them with guns, and they take money from them under force. We had a lot of videos, we had a lot of accusations here and there. Even till now, the tribunal that is sitting in Lagos, there are people coming out with unheard stories of people telling people that I'm going to waste you. I mean, you gave gun to a human being and you didn't train him how to handle gun. You didn't train him about philosophy. There is nothing in his head. You just gave him gun and you let him know that he can shoot. So he arrests somebody and he sees that person as if he can waste the person. A life that was made by God, a life that a man had to sleep with his wife 2, 3, 4, 5 times before the wife conceived, and the wife took the pain to carry the fetus till it materialized into a baby for a period of 9 months. And the woman went into labor for hours, and the labor, very panic-stricken labor, painful labor, to deliver the child. And it took years upon years for them to nurture the child from infanthood to childhood to adulthood. And one useless idiot police officer in the name of SARS will now tell the person that I'm going to waste you. So you ask yourself, who are the political leaders that employ these people? What is the system? What kind of system that enroll people without character, people without moral ability, people without moral maturity, people that cannot restrain their brain, people that are always under impulsive action to kill, to shoot, to manhandle. And that is why ENDSARS happened. They killed and they killed and they kept killing. In fact, they were interrupting. In any case, including civic cases, people could pay any SACS command to just go and deal with somebody in a neighborhood, maybe between tenant to tenants or between landlords and tenants. And it was too becoming unbecoming. It was becoming unbecoming. It was highly injurious to society. It was the highest level of criminality. I mean, you see a group of, I've seen them severally in Ikeja, even in K2 area here and some other places. I saw the way they would just pack. They would just pack. And before you know it, they cock their gun and they create panic, not just to the person they are arresting, but to even the onlookers and people around. And you just discover that it's the one young boy. Of course, we know Yahoo business is not a good business. But can't police create another strategy to arrest Yahoo? I mean, what happened to criminal investigation department? Why did Nigerian police become so debased to this level that all of us are feeling so sad? Why should young urchins, young people in an area just become a law unto themselves? They move in 10s, in 15 with guns, with cutlasses, and they go into shops. And you call the police run away. You try to reach out to the police, the DPO, especially the DPO in MEIRAN. There's a lady DPO in MEIRAN. I'm sorry to say, it is enough. Enough is enough. From what I'm hearing, they should change that woman. I don't know if they've changed her. There must be a kind of overhaul in MEIRAN area. And I will tell you why. Last year, some of my friends in what they call that area in MEIRAN, there's a popular place, I think Lerato area. Lerato, yes, Lerato. There is a popular guy in Lerato that is called Jasper. I want to believe that Jasper is as powerful as the sitting governor of Lagos. But Jasper is just an omonile. So you see a society whereby the police fears an omonile. It's powerful, it's influential. But that is even by the side. I don't know what the politicians uses him for. I don't know what he does for politicians, but it's so influential. But there's a particular street. I've forgotten the name of that street. Let me check the street. Somebody sent the text to me this morning. Please let me just check the name. Okay, Boripe Street. In that Boripe area, for the past 2 years, there is a group of young boys, young men that smoke marijuana. There is a joint in that place whereby those young men every morning, in fact, people that build houses in that area, they've reported severally to MEIRAN Police Station. Nothing happened. You know, when you report and you don't want your face to be shown, but the police want to know you so that they can sell you back to the criminal. These boys smoke. At times they create chaos, they fight, they throw tantrums, they make all sorts of noises in that area. And that is the catchment of rogues. And they said there's another guy there called maybe Omologo or something like that. He's a younger brother to Jasper. And this Omologo was just released from prison maybe 3-4 years ago. And all he could do was to come back and become a criminal. He came back and became an Igbo seller in that area, and he carries all these young boys. They are all sitting. I've forgotten there's other adjacent streets there, because we went to do a lot of stories there last year when we were doing investigation on Ijaiye Electric, and their very sordid misdemeanor, their misbehavior with customers in that area, how they were maltreating customers by one Fred Odogbo, you know, and a lot of things open up to us. These guys smoke from morning till evening, no police attention. So I was in a friend's house, a lady friend who works with a media organization, and I went to her house, and it was a particular day last year, sometime last year, early last year. This thing we're talking about, we have records to show. And something happened. Those boys started misbehaving. They started fighting. There was a lot of uproar in the streets. And I told my friend, call the DPO, MEIRAN Police Station. He wanted to use his number. I told him, don't use your phone number. Use one of the numbers that you are not familiar with, because I'm very sure there's going to be backlash. And he used the number and he called the police woman and he lamented, this is what these boys are doing, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, she lamented. I mean, the lady called the police DPO. That's my friend, the lady. Called the DPO. And I said, call her. So when she called the police DPO, she lamented, she told what's going on, blah, 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 and all that, and all that, and all that. And she said, okay, I will send my boys, I will send my men there. When they are there, you could get them, they will get there now, they will arrest the situation. It was a Sunday. After some 10 minutes, we didn't hear anything. We allowed it to get into 15 minutes. Then we called the DPO again. I told my female friend, call her, engage her. Hey, she called again, and she said, oh, my men are already there. Hey, they said they are looking for the area. This is an area they all know. Boripe to Lerato to MEIRAN Police Station is just a 5-minute drive. Okay, now, after some time, she said something like, oh, we've given the number to the officer. Then, later, she now gave the number to my friend, that's the DPO. My friend now called the officer. They say, oh, are you the one that called us? Oh, we've been calling you. Your number was not going. We've been trying to reach you. And the lady said, look, my number is open. Since I engaged you in this brief, my number has been opened. Oh, okay, we are coming. We are near the place. So after some time, they didn't come. Then I told my friend to call the DPO. Then I collected the phone from my friend. And I told the DPO, look, I'm a journalist. I'm trying to monitor this situation. Madam, please, let this thing be effective. We've called you this almost 20 minutes to 25 minutes, 30 minutes. Nothing is happening. Your boys are perambulating. It's like they are not interested in this case. Immediately she heard that I was a journalist. I thought she changed. The tune changed. The tempo changed. So those boys, the men now called my friend. Hey, we're in the front of Jasper's house now. So where are you? But Jasper's house to Boripe is just a stone throw. So Boripe is where the thing is happening. Those boys are there. They are creating chaos, creating wahala. And my friend said, why will you ask for me? Why? I've given you information. Work on it. And they say, yeah, but because you are the one that called us, and we expect you to come and lead us to the place. So I got angry. I collected the phone back. And I said, officer, why are you behaving like you are not trained in your job? A civilian gave you a discrete information. And all you want to do is to park your vehicle at a distance and tell the civilians to come out and lead you to a place that you know that exists. All you need to do is to either take a reconnaissance, a discrete search. All you need to do is to walk around the place, either a mufti, a discrete investigation, then you can launch an attack. But of course, because all of them are in the same boat. In fact, from investigation we have videos. We learn that even Omologo give them an amount of money he pays these officers every week to sustain his trade of drug finance or drug business in that area. Okay. When I exchanged with him, he was so rude to me on phone. That's the officer. I have his name and I even have his phone number. I'm going to do a video on it, not now, but we're gathering some other things. And it became so obvious that he was rude. And I told him, look, you can't be rude to me. We are giving you a discrete information. You cannot tell us to come out and show our face. To start with, you don't know if we are even safe. We are giving you an information as citizen. You ought to work on it. Then he banged the phone on us. Then we decided to call and report him to his boss, the female DPO. And she said, no, don't worry. They will do their job. Just leave them. They do their job. She couldn't even scold them. Eventually, after like up to an hour, the vehicle came. And from a distance, we saw the way they stopped. Do you know The same Omologo was even greeting them. Àjọ wà ní, àjọ awowo ta ló sọ fún yín, ìyá máa jẹ onítọ̀hún, number ẹ̀dá. And that was what I told my female friend. Don't use your real number. Use a number that you are not conversant with so that you can always switch it off. You see? And between that 1 hour, rain started raining. All those boys, none of them were arrested. In fact, they saw the police. They were very friendly with the police. And they just moved into another place to enjoy themselves. After some 10-15 minutes, the police just related with Omologo and the van drove away. That was one thing. And that was the day I knew that truly a lot of people have made allegations. They've spoken about this issue, but the police, the DPO, will never act on it. The DPO will never do anything on it. And that is what is happening in the Nigerian police. That is what is happening. How can your area be invaded by rogues under your command? And these boys will have their muzzles, they will flex their muzzles. We want to thank Governor Sanwo-Olu for one of the best law he passed into law recently, one of the best legislative law. I'm not a fan of his government really, but I want to give kudos to him on this. Thank you for passing the anti-cultism law, law, for assenting to that law that is going to put any cultist in 21 years in jail. But that is not the issue. The issue is that how can you harness our criminal force to become productive? Why should we allow a huge number of young people roaming on the street, living on drugs, behaving abnormally? In today's Nigeria now, I have sent requests, I've sent information to somebody. There was a time I told my lawyer to write the police command about a certain area in Lagos. And to be honest, till today, nothing happened because they are expecting a phase to come with that information so that they can charge that phase. The dilemma of the Nigerian police, as it were now, is that if you make a report to them, in fact, there is a friend's house that Ijaiye Electric had problem with. They dropped their lights, not because they didn't pay, but because one idiot, a marketer, told him that he reported her to a senior officer. So she brought boys and they dropped his lights. And I told my friend to write a petition to the same MEIRAN police station last year. We have evidence of the receivership of that letter, that petition, through a lawyer's chamber. Do you know, for the past 6 months, no arrest has been made in that network, that disco network. They couldn't arrest any of the officers. And the person they are reporting is just a marketer who misbehaved. A citizen of Nigeria wrote to the police that a marketer came to my house and disconnected my light wrongly. He disconnected my light without following due process, without the rule of engagement. And for months, the police couldn't arrest the marketer, they couldn't arrest the offender because it appears that Ijaiye Electric network is their customer. Maybe the station manager is their friend. Maybe there are things that they do for them. And you see, these are the problems we are facing in this country. And if you say we should keep quiet, how do we wake into a great country? How did we fall into this all-time low? I mean, how did we become so ridiculed to this level? Why? Because some politicians destabilize the social fabric. There is no politics of excellence any longer. Nobody is thinking. Nobody is seeing in between the line. Everybody just wants to be rich at all costs. You want to engage the police, you are afraid. You want to write. When I posted this Ojokoro thing, when my friend called me, the lady that worked in the media organization, she called me to tell me what happened. And I published. Only for Kolajo, my friend, to say, oh, it's supposed to, the police cannot handle that kind of situation. It's DSS that can handle it. And I'm like, what kind of education is this? What kind of orientation? DSS should handle street urchins, boys that have access to, they're carrying cutlass and small guns to harass people, and DSS, an elitist security agency, should be called into that. I mean, that is incredible. In fact, it's incredulous, and that is very unfortunate. It is because the politicians themselves, they've abused the integrity of the DSS. Such a wonderful intelligence organization and an elitist organization that care about the security of states. Then you are telling me that the DSS that should come and handle what they call it, street courts, rivalry courts warfare, something that the police and even the civil defense can nip in the bud. If we are to have a very good police, a smart police, 2 years ago we arrested some people that stole somewhere, young boys, and when we go to the same MEIRAN police station, we are asked to drop all sort of money. We are the one to arrange for the korope that's going to use police to go and arrest those boys. We did a lot of things. In fact, a lady was even very insulting there, one yellow lady there. She was telling us, oh, it's money, oh, if you don't drop, there's nothing. She was even telling us boldly, if she thinks it's a lie, I have her name. And we have evidence. And you wonder, what kind of police is this? In fact, if there is anything that should be done, that MEIRAN police station, it should be totally overhauled. And all other police command around there. If your area, it has to start from the up. If the Inspector General of Police, down to the Commissioner of each state, if a particular area is going through the problem of street urchins or court gang wars, and the command cannot do anything, and the problem keeps going on, then it shows that the DPO has nothing to offer. I learned that there's a complaint bureau in the Lagos Police Command. But even if you tell them to write letters there, I don't know. It's like everybody is just expecting somebody to influence something. If your job is to police, if your job is to arrest criminals, why should you wait to be motivated before you do your job? Why should you wait for a big man to drive down to your station? If Anonymous send a letter to you, why can't you discreetly investigate and applaud that system that gave you the credible information? Why should citizens be afraid to trade information with the police? We call the police to come and arrest Omologo and his areas, smokers, Igbo smokers, in that area, in Lerato area. And the police were hanging until I had to come out and say, Madam DPO, I'm a journalist. I'm interested in this case. And even at that, the police boys, the men, they were rude to me on phone. Then they came and they only parleyed with those guys, and no arrest was made that day. The next day, the whole thing continued. Okay, who are we going to write to? Who are we going to talk to? If the police cannot handle it, can't you even write to the NDLA? If you know your command cannot handle it, can't you write to the Commissioner of Police? And if you know that the person that is hanging those boys is too powerful politically, then you write to the NDLA to come and pack them. In Songwater, in 2018, I was handling a case in the Popular Estates near Tollgate, and we arrested some boys who smoke in their hemp. I want to thank the area commander at that time, Mr. Kayo. They have forgotten the other name. A very brilliant area commander. The area commander that was in Songo Police Station around 2018, 2019. I think Mr. Kayo is a very gentleman, very wonderful, easygoing man. He gave us some of the best detectives to bungle that area, and eventually we got, of course, some of the police have their own different problems, but the most important thing was that the arrests were effected. I don't mind even motivating your officers if they are willing to do their job fantastically. I mean, how can you go to a place even to release somebody and the DPO is telling you all sort of jargon? I mean, so in Songo, we arrested those boys that particular year and we locked them up, and the commandant, that guy, Mr. Coyote, I want to remember the other name. You know, what he did was he sent a letter to the NDLA too. So those boys were transferred from the command to the NDLA. That is how to do a good police job. I don't know if I have his name somewhere, if I still have his card. You know, I want to see if I still have his card, but I'm not sure his card is here. One of the best police officers I've ever dealt with. You know, I don't think I have his card here. Maybe it's in my bigger library. I mean, the area command, Songo Police Command in 2018. I met him, and I thank God that the Nigerian police still have few officers that are as mature as that young man. We were able to effect the arrest of all those idiots then at Bible College Estate. That's another place that boys smoke. You see them in large quantities smoking. In that Bible College now, I'm hearing that a lot of terrible thing is going on. That is near Tollgate. You see, the purpose of this broadcast is that why should young urchins, it's not just Ojokoro, okay, even the extension of Ojokoro up to Alakuko. The other day I saw a video on Facebook. Those boys were using cutlass to break the door of a solve, a Mercedes Benz. The guy was trying to escape. They harassed his wife's shop. They broke everywhere. They were taking money. They were cutting people. They were beating people. And you know what? These young men, we cannot show some of the videos because they are very horrible. These young men are just 15, 19 years. And when they come, they will tell you, and they will be cutting people, shooting people. And the next day, the police will not do anything. You won't hear anything. This video is also, if you watch this video, please, let it get to the necessary authority. If your area is involved in this kind of court rivalry, court war, young boys stealing, looting, creating chaos here and there, you can make your own comments in the comment box. Let us know what is going on, and after making that comment, share the video. I want everybody to share this video because this is a very big issue that is going on in Nigeria now. And I hear that most of these young people, they are product of unguided parenthood. There's another problem going on in Nigeria now. A lot of parents have lost their role. I have seen parents that have children that are into Yahoo, and they allow those children. In fact, there's one that we're dealing with right now, and they are almost in every neighborhood. Why won't the police or the EFCC, why won't they have a popular phone number that people can report to? If, as an officer, I report a criminal to you, and I give you his particulars, his phone numbers, his car numbers, why can't you just effect arrest? I have reported to some senior police officers, and I have not seen results till now. We cannot mention their name. I hope some of them can watch. You know, you report to a senior police officer, you tell, okay, give me this, give me this, give me that, and there's no results. And you keep wondering, what's going on? It's like the police themselves want you to, an average police you report to, want you to motivate them, want you to show your face. You can't show your face. It's a security issue. Every security issue is a discrete issue. It's a discrete campaign. And now when you arrest all these boys, why is government so dormant? So you ask yourself, let's even look at the young people. Let's look at the arresting strategy. Let's look at the profitability of crime to production. Why should we allow a lot of criminal elements, especially young people on the streets? Is there no strategy that can take these people off the streets and put them in a correctional center? Why is government looking or appearing docile in this situation or helpless? If a group of young people can be tormenting a particular environment for so long, and every time you are hearing gunshots, you are hearing people being terrorized, people cannot live their normal life, people cannot do their businesses again, then you ask yourself, what is the solution? What is the process? What is the response of the government, the adults in government? Why should young people be restless? The first result is that there's unguided parenthood. Both aspects of the social enterprise has failed. The parents at home are being very addicted to their job. Most of them have no time to look at the behavior of their young people. Parents have lost the strength to monitor these children. Then the church, that is this religious sphere of influence, whereby we expected that things could regularize, whereby we expected that the church can churn out words or instructive sermons that can model their lifestyle. The church itself is also busy as it appears, as it looks now. The church appears to be busy looking out for financial surplusity, financial development and all that. It appears that the church has lost the role of a what can I call it, of a moderator, of a role model. Then you ask yourself, what about this school? The school self has been poisoned by this political insurgents, this political malfeasance, this political misdemeanor, whereby people are not put in position of authority because of their profile, because of their merits. People are just pushed into several political spaces because of politics itself. It appears that the whole system is almost going collapse. So if in the olden days criminals were arrested by local chiefs and they were being sold into slavery, if you go back to the history, you read the history of those times, that people that were sold into slavery were people who stole in the society, people who had bad influences, or people who misbehaved in one way or the other. Okay, now, why can't we create a system, a strategy that will take these ugly people off the streets, put them in a correctional center, probably sentence them for a period of time, for a season, whereby you can use them in the farm or use them in a correctional situation. You can put them through. I was in a vehicle the other day and the driver was telling us that the only thing that the Nigerian prison does to people that are put inside the system is to make them more harder. You arrest a criminal, you put him in the prison system to correct him, but after a few years, the criminal becomes more harder. In fact, that video tells us, you hear inside that video, that the video of that driver in the bus telling us that some people even planned from the prison, when they were being corrected in the prison, from that prison they planned to go and do more harm. The thing that brought them to the prison was even minor, but from the prison yard they made more people. So instead for the correctional system in Nigeria to correct them and to make them a better citizen, it demonizes them and makes them worse citizen. It makes them more terrible than how they came in. I mean, you go to the prison, the purpose of the prison is for you to be there, to be corrected in morals, corrected in behavior, to be corrected in your behavioral tendencies. So it's supposed to be a behavioralist environment, a behavioralist structuring environment. But instead, it destroyed your behavior, it destroy your moral. The system makes you to behave more terrible. You find yourself, you take a criminal to a system, instead of the system to correct and make the criminal a better citizen, the system pollutes the criminal more. And that is why you look at it. What is going on? How did we get to this level? Because we allowed some category of people to creep into our political system, our political life. And the tendency that it brought in filtered through from the zenith down to the lowest rung of the society. So you have a lot of terrible elements in the society. You have cult boys telling you that they belong to different cult groups. You have a lot of young people that have a spirit of entitlement. They are into Yahoo. They are into street neighborhood courts, fights. They disturb neighborhoods. They just create a system. During the ENDSARS, we saw a lot of things that happened. Even during the Corona period, when people were put at home, it was like hell was let loose. And the police were publicly helpless. All the security services were publicly helpless. And you ask yourself, what is the essence of the police in the society? If you are afraid, if the police cannot arrest the situation, if the police itself looks so helpless, What's the purpose of the civil defense? What's the purpose of other sister security agencies? What's the purpose of NDLA? The other time I was trying to remember the name of the police commissioner that helped us to nip the bud of some useless boys inside Bible College Estate in Tollgate. I will remember now. The young man is called Mr. Adegoke M. Fayuade. He was an assistant commissioner of police at that time, and he was the area commander of Ogun State. That's one of the best police officers I've ever related with that gave me results. He gave me the best of CID, and we're able to tackle all these guys, and we're able to arrest some of them. And he did the most fairest thing under the sun. He transferred their case to NDLA. That is near Ijoku, near Ijoku there, near Songwater High School. Those boys spent a lot of days there. We arrested, out of 6, we were able to pick 4 that were disturbing that environment, bringing in all sort of characters to loot, to steal, to disturb, to humiliate. You know, how can people that are smoking hemp become so become lord and the lord of the man, or upon citizens, people that are educated? How can a whole environment be taken over by streets, young people that are maltreating people? Another time that we wanted to arrest some young people, we approached MEIRAN Police Station. Something happened. Somebody stole. A young boy stole in a particular building, and we want to arrest them and their neighbor. We had to pay money to engage Korokwe and to even sponsor the police to the environment where we were arrested. And when we got there, it was a lot of drama. In a system whereby somebody is being arrested and money can be used to release the person under a twinkle of an eye, then who is going to be encouraged to report them next time? These are the kind of things that we are facing in this country. These are the kind of problem we are facing in Nigeria. And the security agencies must stand up. Going back to the issue of how to use criminals. If you say the prison yards are filled up, then you must create a system that liquidates their terrible energy into productive energy. If you arrest them, if there's no place to keep them, you can put them in chains and put them in a farm system. Let them go and become emergency farmer. If you put them under that system, if you jail them under that working system for a period of 7 years, by the time they come out of that system, their energy will have been properly redirected into doing something else, apart from smoking and roaming around the streets and creating chaos, destabilizing the confidence of ordinary citizens. I mean, if the police cannot arrest that kind of a situation, then who are we going to run to? If government cannot think, if people that are in government don't have good policy to solve this problem, even the Yahoo boys that ENDSARS were busy killing, there are a lot of ways. If the police are honest, if the Economic and Financial Crime Commission agency is very honest, if the NDLA is honest, there will be a public phone number and they can congregate to put it on a public channel or the public television or whatever, or radio. You can keep making a jingle that if you notice this kind of tendencies among this character of young people, I mean, dyeing of hair, putting on erring, using of flashy cars, send the number of their cars to this number, send the numbers of their house address to this social number, and you can do your quiet intelligence. You can do your intelligence gathering, and you can swing on them and arrest them. Why should SARS go in the broad daylight and hijack people's vehicle and be running around trying to pin down people or kill them or take them to ATM? If you have a genuine phone number or a public complaint channel whereby people can raise issues, they can send message to, then you can follow through and do your district investigation. You'll be able to pick them. But it appears that the system does not even want to do anything. The police system, there's sometimes you call some number, they tell you, oh, these are security numbers you can call. Eventually you call them, you discover that nothing is even working, or you discover that there are a group of fake numbers. But if there is a public policy scheme, if there is a public awareness scheme whereby you put all these phone numbers of EFCC, police, NDLEA, and every other sister security agencies, people can give you quality information, discreet, and all you need to do is to motivate your men. Not that somebody has to go to the police station and dish out 50,000 or motivate some officer before they swing into action. Today I bought a newspaper and look at what Daily Trust wrote. He said how Nigerians go through costly torturous walk to justice. How Nigerians go through costly torturous walk to justice. Lawyers, courts recharge exorbitant fees. Not just lawyers and courts alone. I will read part of the stories to your hearing. And you will now wonder, how can we get a durable system? How did we get to this level? Who are the politicians that put us in this system? We have to wake up every morning and lay curse on them. And we have to stop them henceforth. We have to create a democratic system, a behavioral system that will stop them. He said many Nigerians seeking for justice in law courts have to spend a lot of money in form of legal fees and other charges before they succeed, finding by the Daily Trust Saturday revealed. The development has forced many citizens to abandon their cases midway, even when they have all the evidences at their disposal to prove their cases. Some litigants told one of our correspondents that if you don't have money to hire a lawyer and then process court documents, there's nothing you can do when you are cheated. Victims said it is not always pleasing to have a case that will require going to court because of the exuberances leading to justice. Because of the encumbrances leading to justice. And one of them said, my prayer is never to have anything to do with a police station or a court because it will involve spending money even if you don't have it, said Fatima Yusuf, a trader at Utaku Market, Abuja. My 12 million naira is trapped somewhere and I have spent over 2 million naira to recover it to no avail. Your travel start from police station where you have to sponsor detectives to trace the culprits. Your travel starts from police station where you have to promote detective to trace the culprit. After arresting him, they will process the case and then take you to court where a new layer of spending will start, she said. Fatima said the trouble with seeking for justice in the courts of law is partly responsible for what she calls self-help syndrome in Nigeria. Another one said that engineer Mohammed Dairu, who filed a case to recover his Abuja property from a tenant in 2019, said he had spent 2 million naira in legal fees without any headway in the process, as he has been unable to evict or get rid from the erring tenant occupying the apartment. My legal fee were around 150,000 and payment for filing of certified true copies, among others, has cost over 1 million naira, he said. Every day you go to court, if something is wrong, either with the judges or the process, you don't even get to hear about it until you get to the court and you are told to come back on another date. As long as you have gotten to court, you will have to pay the appearance fee because the lawyer has done the proper thing. The lawyer has gotten to court. Now, you have to go and Google this story, how Nigerians go through costly torturous walk to justice. Most of the issues raised in that report is the issue of police, security agencies, and the law court system. Why they drag the foot drag. Are we trying to make Nigeria to become a self-help republic whereby people have to take self-help action? If you tell me not to get mad, that I should get a lawyer, or not to get mad, I should get the police along, then if I report the police, I'm afraid to report to the police because it appears that the police itself is helpless. Then when a young person will be telling me that, it's because of ENDSARS, that's why the police cannot do their job again. And here you are seeing videos of policemen arresting traffic offender, collecting money from them, not even taking them to the police station. The other day you saw a training video of a policeman, after checking all the documents, he was even trying to look at the chassis number. He didn't say any chassis number. He was telling the guy that his chassis number is wrong. And the guy said, okay, locate my chassis number in this bonnet and tell me where it is. And he couldn't even spot that that chassis number. Yet he has declared that the chassis number was wrong without even citing it. He didn't even know where they wrote the traffic number inside the engine. And he looked. For more than 30 minutes, he was trying to search for that that chassis number. You can imagine the conduct of such a police officer, the moral decadent, the corruption that has worn him inside his blood, inside his sight, and all of the officers standing there. Most of the policemen, when you see them, some of them even look more horrible than a criminal. So you ask yourself, how do we solve this issue? Why should we make noise? Why should we be living under fear? Why should boys raid a particular area and there is no action? Everybody talks, everybody's aware, oh, this thing happened, and nobody could do anything about it. Even the policemen that were in the area, they ran away. And the next day, nobody, no detective to pick people. If the police are doing their job, if there is a youth unrest in a particular area, the next day, a lot of young people should have been picked up at random, because the police are the best, they are the best set of people. They are in the best position to gather intelligence, both raw and genuine intelligence, both the raw intelligence on the ground and those that you get from people, both primary and secondary evidence, both primary and secondary intelligence gathering. There must be a proactive measure. There must be an intuitive measure. But with the Nigerian police, it appears there is no intuitive, there is no proactive measure. Everything is just docile. Everybody has to sponsor his own case. You have to be there, you have to motivate, you have to carry them along, you have to spend a lot of fortune. You have to make them to see the truth. The truth is hanging around on the street, but you still have to pay them, you have to beg them, you have to pamper them, you have to persuade them. That is not a country any longer. Things are going apart, things are falling apart, and the police must rise to this action. If the rank and file is getting rotten in morale, then we should raise a lot of police out of that force. There is no reason for you to keep a group or a bunch of men who are not aligned to their job, who are not aligned to what they're supposed to do for a living. There's no reason, there's no basic reason keeping them. If they don't know what to do or what their job qualification requires, then remove them. Recruit a new set of young people. Put them through the best standard of training. Let them be much of criminologists, philosophers, employ philosophers, people that are graduating from university with philosophy who want to go into security, people who went to study criminology, people who went to study psychology. These are the three categories of people that we need in the police and some other security agencies: psychologists, criminologists, philosophers, people who study philosophy, because by studying philosophy, you have a lot in your brain to use to edify your living system. By studying criminology, you're already hands on the job, except for other little things that you're going to grab for your knowledge sake. So I think we have to look into the situation. I think we must not sit down. We must ask questions. If people cannot give results for what they're employed for, then they have no reason sitting on that seat. If you're a commissioner of police in a state and a particular environment is having a recurring decimal of criminal activities, a particular environment is having a recurring situation of criminal occurrences, then it appears, it should tell you that's an indices. That is an indices that the area commander or the DPO is not up to task. It's either you change them, there must be this strategy of transfer. You take them from that area and bring another person. You cannot tell me that a political thug is more powerful than the police. You can't tell me that a group of boys that are just problem to a particular street, smoking, creating public nuisance, should be left alone, nothing should happen to them. If the criminal situation is not tackled now, then the country is almost gone. And that is why there are a lot of agitations going on. People are not confident. People are not at peace with themselves. People are not feeling very right in the country again. They feel that something is wrong. The wrong people, wrong pegs are put in square holes, or square pegs are put in wrong holes. If a commissioner of police like the one in what they call it, in MEIRAN area or any other area cannot do their job, a DPO cannot do her job or his job in a particular area, not just in MEIRAN alone, then there should be a security rejig. There's a kind of a rejig. The commissioner of police should ask questions. They should call such people to strong briefings. Call them for an emergency briefing and ask them questions. What's going on in your area? Why is your area volatile? Why the noise? Why can't you do anything? There are a lot of things going on now. So the security community must be buoyant enough to tackle this situation. You cannot tell me that these young people are more powerful than the police or any other security agencies, even the police. Not to talk of the civil security defense and some other agencies. Like the young man that is telling me that DSS is the one that can arrest the situation. What concerns DSS with area boys, with urchins, with court rivalries? It is the job of the police. The CIDs are there, and the police can tackle it. If the police cannot do it, then the civil defense should be able to also add their own value. I cannot understand it when the police is docile. If you put a DPO in a place for 6 months, remove her, remove the guy. Always change them. Don't let them be too long in a place, except they are giving excellence service. If you notice that the person is handling that place very well, and there is no noise, there is no problem, then why not? And if you say you are packing young people, if you arrest them for criminal, you can bust an area once in a while. Just arrest people at will. It has happened before in my former area. Many years ago, I was living in that MEIRAN myself. There were a lot of criminal activities in Fred Momo Street. And by the grace of God, I was able to relate to my friend, who is now a DCP, Tuji Disu, in the RRS. And they were able to do a fantastic job. They arrested them just one Monday evening. I think I'm talking of 2016 or 2017. They arrested them and they were able to catch a lot of criminals, because when they give you a report about a particular area, just launch an arrest one day like that. In between, you are going to get a criminal. It's like throwing your net inside the water at on even hour. You discover that your net will capture a large scale of fishes. But if they give you the report and you are not doing anything, people send you messages, they tell you what's going on, and you ignore. You're expecting people to come and compensate or to come and pay you visits or come and show their face. It does not make sense. The purpose of security is to be discreet. The purpose of security is to carry it out discreetly and to get a result. They could give you a report about particular places. All you need to do, let your CID go in there. Let them mingle with the society. Let them go and sit down at the bars. Let them sit down in the corner. Let them move around, disguise. Do a lot of reconnaissances and all that. And by the time you launch, it will be late for the criminals to retrace their step. And with that, you can catch a lot of criminal elements. I remember that year in Fred Momo Street, that was how one of the women that is selling pepper soup in the area stopped the pepper soup, because a lot of criminal elements were caught there. There was a guy doing a Okada mechanic. They caught a lot of people smoking Indian hemp there. And there was a landlord, one allergy on the street. His son was caught in the act. He was caught and he had to go and bail. He made a lot of trips to the police command. You know, if people give you security report about a place, act. Don't behave like the DPO in MEIRAN, that woman. I don't know if she's still there, that couldn't arrest people that are smoking Indian hemp in Lerato, and our men were doing zigzag, come see, come serve, zigzag, come see, come serve, zigzag, come see, come serve. They cannot even come to the spot, and eventually when they came to the spot, they were even having handshake with the head of the criminal gang. They were doing a wee-wee. You can imagine, if a police officers have decayed to that level, then you remove him from the service, you sack him. There is no need to keep those kind of elements in the service. The service needs a total rejig. We are going through the worst situation now, the worst scenario. And it is because the top political echelon, it has destroyed. The Bible said if the head is rotten, then the bottom will be dead. I think the book of Psalm 11 said, if the righteous, if the foundation is bad, you cannot, what can the righteous do? You must be very careful. In the story today, look at it now. In another paper, in City People, the new drugs youths now take to get high. This is this week edition of City People, talking about the new drugs youths now take to get high. And this is what is going on. So if you have this kind of report, why can't police, why can't intelligence agencies work on this to get some of these youths off the streets? They are talking about a lot of drugs here. And because the writing is so small, they said the incessant taking of illicit drugs among Nigerian youths has become alarming and worrisome in the last few days. The practice is rapidly spreading, especially among youths in schools, and it's even worse among the unemployed youths. To make matter worse, majority of ladies these days are also into drugs. Hard drugs are capable of affecting the state of the body and mind by either depressing or stimulating the central nervous system, or producing other biochemical harm to the users and by extension the society at large. You can go and look for the story. Then they talk about some of the drugs. They say some of the drugs youth now take include Colorado. Colorado is one of the banned substances that drug addicts and unsuspecting new entrant experiment with in Lagos, which the United Nations 2018 drug use statistics say are dangerous to health. Another drug commonly taken now by youth is rohypnol. That is ROHYPNOL. It is an intermediate acting benzodiazepine with general properties similar to those of Valium diazepam. It is used in the short-term treatment of insomnia as a pre-medication in surgical procedure and for inducing anesthesias. Other drugs with their street names include death rape drug, forget me drug, roaches, roofies, and ruffles. Others include circles, forget me pill, La Rocha, lunch money, Mexican Valium, mind eraser, Pingus, R2, Raynoid, Rib, Roach, Roach 2, Roaches, Rochin, Rupees, Robuta, Rochas, Dose, Rochas, Dose, Rope or Rope, Ropies, Ropeless, Roche, Wolfies, Banku, and a host of others. Some of the hard drugs cause a major harm to their liver, heart, intestine, joint, and other parts of the body. You see, if the society is not guided, if we have a group of parents that are chasing businesses, then the church leadership that is chasing money without the word of God, gospel is dead, except business and empire building. When you have a society whereby even the security agencies are looking for money at all costs, a police sergeant want to have 2, 3, 4 transport vehicle on the road, a corporal want to have 3 or 4 keke marwa or 2 or 3 korope doing business for him, then these are the kind of things that will happen. The youth will become the victim, and everything will just go banal. Then we are going into a banana republic, and these are youths that you are going to hand over to in the next 10, 20 years. So what are you doing with them now? Why do you allow them to fly around, to flip away? Why do you allow them to waste away? Why should we be in a fix? Why should the police be afraid to do their job? Then if you know that there's shortage in the work system, even in the agriculture, why can't you commit some of these criminals that you are launching in prison? Why can't you commit them to the agric farms? Why can't you use their energy to do agric and teach them a new way of living, a new way of earning, a new way of having a new life, instead of putting them in a prison and after 1 or 2 years they come out more hardened and more terrible and more vicious? Why should the police become a problem in this country? Why? Why are we afraid? Why should everything be money? We fought SARS because the SARS men were more worse than criminals. They were even more terrible than armed robbers, because what they were practically doing they were kidnapping. They were kidnapping people and forcing them to cough out money from the ATM. When you have a group of young people, in fact, all the people that they use for SARS, they need to go for a new rehabilitation. You need to take them out of the police system. You need to take them into another thing. Maybe you create a police agricultural scheme and put them there, let them work as agriculturalists. Don't let them get into an engagement with people again, because they already have that attitude of hijacking people's freedom. They have the attitude of taking money by force. It is a criminal tendency that is now reigning in their blood. In those days, we even see some of these SARS men that do all sort of terrible hairstyle. Some of them even dress like Yahoo boys themselves. And it is not because they want to nip the situation in the bud, it's because they want to arrest, hijack, and kill in most cases. How can an officer be telling you that I will waste you, a life that you cannot produce, a life that you don't have access, you don't know how God did it, then you use your gun and you kill? Don't you know you have put cost on your own children? You lay cost on your own family because your children are going to get to the peak and they're going to be shot dead too. The day you think that your children are going to give you the good things of life, that's the day they're going to kill them. You can't go scot-free when you waste a life. The blood will react. The curses that people will lay from their mouth will react. Your life will never be the same again. You will become anything. So this broadcast is just to evangelize and to react to the situation whereby young people are going around in Lagos, disturbing peaceful coexistence, disturbing businesses, using guns, using machetes to machete people. Everybody that is watching the broadcast should please comment, put your comments in the comment box, tell us your own situation, and forward the broadcast to people that need to see it. If you have any intelligent police officer in your family, forward it to them. If you have any intelligent police officer as friend, the real good ones, forward it to them. The police need to revalue, to reassess itself. The Nigerian police, a lot of officers need to be retired and to be removed. Then you need to take a new crop of young people who studied criminology, who studied psychology, who studied philosophy. Put them in the system, train them, give them the best training, give them the best salary package, give them the best, what can I call it? The best remuneration. Treat them like human beings. Don't let them be corrupt. This generation of corrupt police should be removed because they cannot do anything without being motivated. They cannot give their best without being persuaded with money or with some other incentives. If you are doing a job and you cannot, I've done a lot of community jobs. During the day, we were investigating the bad behaviors of the discos among communities. I didn't collect any dime. Ask those people that I went to interview, different communities we visited. We did those broadcasts free of charge because we have to also contribute our own quota to development. How can everybody become a criminal? Because you are following one politician, because you are doing Jenkoku, Jensaku. What's the meaning of that? Because everything has to do with settle. We cannot continue this kind of politics because when we are doing settle, then the real people will not be able to come on board to change our lives. We will only have people that are sponsored, are promoted with money, pushed to the front. So we have to stop this character, this useless attitude of settle. It must be money. If I don't make money, I can't do anything. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about success value in another video. What is success? Why is everybody thinking that everything about success is to make money, buy a house somewhere, drive good cars, live fine? Then what is your end going to be like? What kind of society are you living for your own children? Do you want to live in a society whereby one man will own the 80% of progressive businesses in that society? Where you wake up one morning and discover that one man is the one in charge of a lot of things that directly involve your life, that the woman is the owner of majority of lands, that woman is the direct owner of majority of enterprises, that your children might likely become the CEO one day, that one man and his family is the owner of a lot of things that affect your life directly. We cannot continue. Everybody should go back to the history and read. Everybody should go back to the Bible and read. Everybody should go back to the Quran and read. Inspire people to be real. Inspire people to be who they ought to be. They should do their job without being persuaded. If you're a police officer, you should be happy to arrest criminals and hand them over to justice. If you're a judge, you should be happy to do justice to the good cause. If you collect all the money, all the fortune, they give you money, they dash you money to change the cause of justice, you will burn to ashes the day you die. The last corona that happened 2 years ago has shown us how the judgment day is going to be. Most of the big men that were railed into hospitals, none of them, majority of them couldn't come out. That was the day that mercy ran away from them. That was the day they got their full results from God. Some of them had billions, but they couldn't even get bed for some of them. Some of them had billions. They paid millions to save their own life. Oxygen ran away. Everything ran away because they didn't do a job of mercy. When they're supposed to have mercy on people that needed that mercy, they didn't have that mercy. When people came to them for help, they couldn't help. They could only help women they slept with. And they would give them money. They would take care of those ones. One night, 200,000. But the person that needs a camera to do a job, or a person that needs something that will help his life, they cannot even dash that person 100,000. They can't even dash the person 10,000 or 20,000. But they can sleep with them. So the corona time came, and there were a lot of things that happened to some of them. As big as they are, things went against them. And that is how Judgment Day is going to be. When death strikes you, you will meet yourself in a very horrible place. No matter if you think that you take money from a lot of people and you are nice, you are giving money out, you are giving rights out. Sure. If you're a police or anybody and your job is to save life, your job is to protect life, your job is to eradicate criminality in the society, and you want people to come and beg you to give you money, to give you car for you to do your job, a day will come, the God Almighty, the owner of earth, the owner of all the big mountains, the owner of all the big seas, the owner of all the rainbows that you see around the world, the owner of all the big clouds when you fly in the aeroplane, he will give you the direct judgment. You will die, and you will not find mercy in the hand of the angels. It has been written in the Quran. It's written in the Bible. That day will come, and you won't pick anything away from all the things you gather. Some of you will even gather those things, and God will make high blood pressure and some other very unbearable diseases to be your partner. You will be on drugs for the rest of your life. You won't balance, because how did you got it? You got it wrongly. So please, if you're a victim of all this situation, if you're of police negligence in the face of tyranny, in the face of insecurity, please make your comment. Tell us what happened to you, how you faced it, and let the video get to the right people so that there will be right discourse in the right quarters. And with time, maybe there could be a right solution. We cannot say because some young people stopped SARS and came out with a campaign of ENDSARS, and that's why police are afraid. Then, if you are afraid, then you leave the job, resign, go to your house and find something else to do. Go and be selling sweets by the roadside, or go back to the farm and go and be a farmer. Let other young blood, new people come in. We need a new leadership. And these brokers, a lot of people that are aiming at the high level of leadership in 2023 should also take note. We need a leadership that is going to do an overhaul in the police system, in the immigration system, in the NDLEA system, and even in the custom, Nigerian custom and excise, and some other organization that people are complaining about. If by the time I do another video on immigration and how they take money for passports, they take 40,000, 45,000, and they delay you. They won't give you your passport. Some are even, my lawyer, he has paid for one idiot at Ikoyi passport office. And for the past 6 months, he has not been able to get the passport. They keep telling him, no booklet, no booklet, no booklet. And you wonder, in the country, in your own country, even to renew your driving license, for them to just capture you and give you back a new one, they know you've been driving, it takes more than 6 months. So you keep wondering, what kind of adults are these? What are they looking for? Then when you enter their offices, you have to tip everybody. You tip this, tip that before something happens. Even before your file moves from one table to the other, you have to keep tipping. If we have a crowd of adults that cannot give honest service, then we're in trouble. You cannot give honest service. I've gone to police stations and I saw officers that did fantastic job. And after some time, I go and thank them in their offices. I say, sir, you are a very good one. You are a real officer. And I see a lot of them that did so bad, telling you to drop money, drop this, before we can do this, drop this, drop this. And you have to drop, because if you don't drop, they will not help you to find the truth that you are looking for. They will not help you to find justice. You have read it in the paper now, what it cost. That's what Daily Trust did today, that Nigerians have to go through costly, torturous work to justice. Not just in the court system. It starts from the police. And it has to change. You have to bring an IG that will look into this kind of situation and overhaul the police system. Give a police with prospects, a police that is thinking on their foot, not a how you dey police, not the oga, waiting you remain kind of police. A police that is thinking, not the police that is stopping vehicles and collecting particulars so that they will collect money. We're talking of police that will search for crime, that have eyes to nip crime in the bud, that goes to neighborhood and do their due diligence and arrest crime. Anyway, till the next time I'll be coming out an interventionist video. I want you to take this as a serious issue, and I want you to keep sharing the video. Give us your own situational report. If you live in Ketu Agboyi, you live in Ikorodu, you live in Alapere area, you live in Elebiju area, you live in Yombolovo, Salawe area, you live in Agege, you live in Yanopaja, you live in Abulegba, you live in Ojokoro area of Alagbado, Alakuko, or Dalemo, or Ijaiye, or MEIRAN, or Kolinti, that Lagos Abeokuta stretch up to toll gates, even Songwater, Ijoko, Sona Igbala Ijako, and all those areas. What is the crime report there? And some other places of Lagos like Abes or Ipaja. Tell us what is going on. Even up to Ojuore in Songwater. Tell us what is going on. Tell us what is going on with the situation. Tell us, are your area commanders competent? Are the DPOs in those areas, are they competent? What is your relationship with the police? How have they treated you? Have you tried to report a situation to the police and they want you to put your face to it? Like the useless officers in MEIRAN did. They wanted us to come out and show our face so that they can rail us into the criminal and say, I want us to suffer. And then eventually when they went to the place, the criminal, the homologo was telling them, but because they cannot even trace that number. So if you have any situational report, if you have any bad experience in the hand of police trying to alert them to a crime situation, put it in the comment box and please share the video. We only have one country, and that country is Nigeria. Any other country that will come tomorrow, we still have Nigeria first to protect, and our job is to sanitize our own mindset. Then if we can sanitize our own mindset, our attitude will sanitize the society at large. It will be the same attitude we're going to take into 2023. Then you can tell yourself that this character, this politician is not good for me. It's not good for my generational cause. It's going to be an accident to my political aspiration and to what is going to happen to me and my children tomorrow. The next broadcast is going to be very important. We're investigating a clergy, and by the time we come out, you'll be very, very surprised. And we want to thank you. I want to say we are very, very grateful for the support. Thanks for supporting Asabi Africa. Thanks for being a compassionate follower. Till some other time, thank you. Let the discourse continue. Goodbye.
Officer.
I will give you 500. Every day I was giving you 500. It's not good now.
I don't like the way they do. I don't like the way they talk.
Officer, I cannot be giving you 500 every day.
I don't tell you. If you say that no be killer. If you say that work, I do it. I don't tell them. If you know what kind of person go station, you go pay pattern. I think $1,000. Even if we talk to tomorrow, go with that man. Go with that. I don't tell you. Go with that. Go with that man there. Go with that. Go with that. Go with that. Hey yeah. Hey yeah. General. This is why they talk. They list of woman face here. She gets wife now, so he's supposed to look wife. No, woman don't look now. I'm one of the chop. I'm one of the chop. After talking to you will tell the woman to when you go. I go chop. Yeah. I'm one of the chop person.
Officer,
I'm on 500.
Officer, not get 500. I told you.
I don't know if Mr. 500 tell me.
Oh, Officer, must I be paying you 500 every day? Officer, I don't know what. Officer, what do you want me to do again? Officer. But officer, the thing is, you don't too much. Now they give you every day. The thing is too much because this thing where we are carrying, no money on it.
How do you really do it at the last time when you come? You come back.
As you know, this thing we have with the car, no money there. If you buy gas, money no day. Money no day. Money no day. Don't no go best with me.
I see you, you know, say you're okay.
No, I know I'm okay. But at least, officer, you see, officer, pay that one. But officer, there's no way there's a fix because my uncle was a big boy in police. Before he resigned, he retired. That is why I always respect you. I have money. That is why they give people. Some don't have. Some many of them are complaining. So let me go because this thing I did here, my time they waste. After I know fee pay 500 naira. You see, you don't even know that I'm recording it. A police officer, ASP, collecting money at Glassforce Junction. A superintendent of police. Can you imagine? Disturbing people. People are tired, suffering. I'll post it, and people will see him. Two people, only two persons, collecting money from people, extorting money from people. I have my documents, everything is complete. Okay. Ebe I'm not good, but that's in Indiana 9 years ago. Also, I'm near 500 naira. Hello? Ask me near 500 naira. Marshall Ade Kemji. Many 200 can we take care because I went back to Gabere. I call Haribu Moga because meaningful Gagu. Still, I told you. I told you, Okanonga.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, my uncle wants to speak with you. So, can you start it also?
From where now? From where? Which division? Which place?
The WhatsApp to the room balance.
Hello? Hello?
Hello, officer, good morning.
Good morning, officer. This is the PNG here, Super. Super cereal. Super cereal.
Super cereal.
Yeah. Hello, I'm hearing you, I'm hearing you. Super cereal. I'm hearing you. Hello, I'm hearing you. Service is not good here. Hello? Yes, I'm hearing you. Service is not good. Take.
Hello? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I can hear you now.
Okay, that's my brother.
Okay. Man, who is speaking?
Huh?
Man, who is speaking?
I said I am supporting.
Okay, I'm hearing you.
So that's why I said me to my brother.
Okay. I heard you. Okay, what's the essence of calling you?
Because also you don't disturb me too much here. Every day. I don't explain to you.
Yeah. Come out there, come.
Can I go now?
So you are giving me how much you are giving me? Say money. That's why you are calling the officer. Do you think that the officer can? Is this the calling officer that? Huh? Why are you calling the officer? To do what?
I told him. He said anytime you disturb me, I should call him.
So I'm disturbing you, and you don't even give me a driver license.
I have my driver license. I have all the documents. I have 5 trucks. All of them have documents up to date.
Okay, where you pass the other time? What did you tell me? When you pass that time,
The other officer asked me to give him license. I gave him. Then you collected 200 naira. I said I don't have my car is spoiled. I still gave the money because I don't like to waste time. I don't all of my vehicles I have up to date this thing. So that is why I just want to be spending money because I have my papers. It's not that I'm not happy that I spend money, but I'm doing it because I'm from police family and I respect police. That is why apart from that, I don't want to spend the money. This thing we do here is not job. As the person, like the contractor, giving us more money at the time we buy gas, everything we finish. That's the thing.
Bring it tomorrow.
Another day I go not give. I'm not giving this one now. Another I'm not gonna give. I dey give for my free will, but this time you are forcing me. Eh? This is what we pass through every day on road. Police in Aba. This police station now is from Ojokoro. This is where they stop and block all the vehicles, whether you are carrying load or you are not carrying load. They must collect 500 naira from you. And if you refuse to give them, they will pack you. I've been parking here now for more than 30 minutes. That is why I'm making this video. I'm going to send it to appropriate authorities. If they don't do anything about it, then I'm going to carry up myself. So, people should help us and stop police extorting money from us. He forcefully collected 200 naira again from me today. So I've just given him as an evidence. That is why I record it. Thank you. So if you want to comment, you comment. And I want you people to share this video.
Kí lorúkọ ẹ? Bíọ́lá kíni? Bíọ́lá Dábírí. Ọmọ bo ni ẹ? Mo bá olùfọ̀n. Kí ni nickname ẹ?
Costa.
Okay, wọ́n ní Costa. Okay, Bíọ́lá Costa. Wo bí, look here.
And go back small. Ẹ̀yin mélòó lẹ lọ rọ?
Àwọn mẹ́fà ni o. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ṣàánú mi ẹni kan tú mi o máa jẹ́wọ́. Kí n tẹ jókòó sílẹ̀ kẹ́ dèmí pamọ́ lẹ́lẹ́ ó pè mí o.
Ọ̀gbẹ́ni dákẹ́. Kí lórúkọ àwọn mẹ́fẹ̀ẹ̀fà náà?
Èrò àìpọ̀. Small pie.
Okay.
BJ.
Okay.
Sense.
Okay.
Ikúremọ̀.
Okay.
Ìbàdàn.
Okay.
Àtẹ̀mí o.
Àti rẹ.
Ọwọ́ ìdíje.
Ibo ni small pie ń gbé?
Ìmọ̀pá ni.
Ìmọ̀pá.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
BJ ńkọ́?
Mo lípa ni o, mi ìmọ̀lé ẹ̀. Bọ̀ mo lípa ni sà.
Ikú ńkọ́?
Ká ní. Ikúremọ̀ ni mo sọ. Mo lípa ni o. Ohun àti BJ. Ọwọ́ ìtìgé o. Ọwọ́ ìtìgé. Sẹ́ǹsì ni ìbọn ọ̀lẹ́wọ̀ ẹ̀. Ẹ ṣàánú mi.
Ibo ni sẹ́ǹsì ń gbé?
Sẹ́ǹsì mi mọ́lé ẹ̀ o BJ. Ẹ bá ti BJ ti ilé ẹ̀. Ẹ ṣàánú mi Káyọ̀dé mu pa ni màá gbé yín lọ. Èrò ra ipò ọwọ́ ìtìgé wàláì.
Ibo lẹ ti lọ ṣiṣẹ́ tẹ lọ ṣe yìí?
Ọwọ́ Akurudu ni o.
Ọwọ́ Akurudu?
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni sà.
Wo bíbà wo bíbà?
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni sà.
Ọwọ́ Akurudu?
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
Kílẹ̀ yàtọ̀ sí ọ.
A lọ sókè ọwà.
Okay.
Eré àbólókè wa.
Eré àbólókè wa. Ibi ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ ni sà.
Lókè wa.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni màá mú ilẹ̀ bí odò yẹn. Ọwọ́ ìtìgé.
Ẹ̀yin náà lẹ ṣe operation bẹ́ẹ̀.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni sà.
Kí lẹ gbà ń bẹ̀?
Fóònù náà ni o. Fóònù ni o.
Now ṣe sùúrù. Wọ́n ní ṣọ́ọ̀bù kan wà ní Olóde.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
Ẹ̀yin lẹ já.
Ó ti sà kì í já ṣọ́ọ̀bù sà.
Ẹ kì í já ṣọ́ọ̀bù.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni sà visiting.
Visiting lẹ́yìn ṣe.
Ọwọ́ ìtìgé. Ẹ ṣàánú mi. Màá jẹ́wọ́ fún yín. Ọwọ́ ìtìgé Ọlọ́run. Kẹ́tí ẹ̀ tún mi gan máa jẹ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run. Máa jẹ́wọ́ ọwọ́ ìtìgé tán. Mo tún sọ ìbò jẹ́wọ́ fún yín. BJ gan ò lè jẹ́wọ́ fún yín. BJ ò lè jẹ́wọ́. Wàláì. BJ ò lè jẹ́wọ́. Màá mú ilé ọgbó ẹ̀. Ọwọ́ ìtìjà bọ̀.
Fóònù mélòó lẹ gbà ní òkè ọwà?
A tó mẹ́wàá o.
A tó mẹ́wàá?
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
Ní Ọwọ́ Akurudu ńkọ́? Fóònù lẹ gbà ń bẹ̀?